The A part asks us to do what? Construct what?
Payoff table. Yes, sir.
Construction of table. There are three alternatives here. What are those alternatives? Is actually supply, whether to supply how many bags? 350,000 bags or what? Or 280 or what?
Or 200.
Now what we want to do is that we want to match up the demand with that. So now let's say here is our supply. Supply here is our demand. Without asking further question, which one do you have control over?
Supply.
Supply. It means my action or my alternative will now be supply this bag, and supply. Do you understand? All right, so let's bring out the figures. First, 350,000 bags. This next one is what? 1,000 bags. And the third?
200,000.
200,000 bags. So our demand also want to match the demand, so that here will be 350,000. Next one will be what? 280,000. And next one will be what? 200,000. So now, what we want to do is to construct the payoff. Now, the other question I was illustrating, we got the payoff, Abby, but here, now we are going to be matching. If I supply 350 and demand is 350, what happens here? If I supply 280 and demand is 350, what happens here? And like that for all this. And these are the alternatives here, which is like the payoff we are going to be constructing now. So now, let's pick them one by one. Notes. First is we want to supply 350. Or let's get the figures out. What's the selling price for this product, for this cement?
1,800.
Okay, so selling price 1,800. 800, Abby?
Yes, sir.
Variable cost, how much?
800.
800. So my contribution, Egone?
1,000.
1,000. For any product that is unsold, how much is the disposal cost?
100.
Disposal cost. Yes, 100, Abby, per bag.
Yes.
Sorry, the screen is freezing. $100. So the first scenario, let's start. Option 1, is we supply 350,000 bags. And then the first one, demand equals to 350. Abi, that's the first thing. So what will happen?
Everything will be wonderful.
So first we get our contribution. Abi?
Yes.
Contribution. Remember, we have contribution per bag of how much? 1,000, right?
1,000.
So if you are supplying 350 bags and people are willing to buy 350 bags, all right? How much will I have total contribution? 350 multiplied by what? 1,000. How much do I have?
350 million.
350 million. So let me put million here to make my life easy. So if I have demand, where demand equals to 280, is that?
Yes,
1,000. How much can I make in contribution? Contribution will be based on how much? 280, Abi? So I will have 280,000 multiplied by how much? 1,000.
1,000.
How much is this? 280 million. Let me remove this M since I have M up already. Sorry, the screen is lagging. I don't know. It's network or something, or the system I'm using today. Okay, so we have 280 demand, Abi. Do you have SS? What's the SS, guys? Is it 70?
70.
70. That SS, we have to dispose it at what?
100 naira. 100 naira.
100, Abi?
So, a bag.
Remember, you produce how much? You produce 250, Abi? 350, right? You are selling only, sorry, this 280,000, not 28.
Mr. Please,
okay. So less variable cost, Abi? Or let's say, let me just put cost. Cost here will be the cost of making that SS. Is that not? How much do we make SS?
Yes.
To make 1 unit, how much do we spend? 800, right? Plus additional 100 to dispose 1 bag. Is that not? That means we have a total of how much? 900 multiplied by how many units? 70. And that would be...
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can see it.
So this is is 217, you said? 217.
Sir, please, I have a question.
What's the question?
How did you get the 800?
That's not what I'm asking. No. My question is, in this first contribution, we are not lessening cost. Why is that? So my network might went off then.
You're not lessening cost. What is contribution?
That's sales minus variable cost.
So have you not less contribution? I mean, cost already.
But in this second one that we multiply contribution, we are lessening cost.
The first one, you are selling everything. Abi, we demand, people demanded 350, you sold 350. What can you get as total contribution? Is it not at 350? Contribution per unit is 1,000 naira per bag now. So if I sell 350, which is everything I'm supplying, it means I'll get 350 multiplied by 1,000. That's 350 million. Okay. This second scenario, the demand is only 280,000, but you are supplied how much? 350 bags. So the contribution you can make is based on how much people are willing to buy. Am I correct? So and you are putting the cost out of this selling price, which is 1,000 contribution. So you make a profit or contribution of 280 plus additional cost that you are going to lessen from it, which is what? Cost of making the excess. Remember, you made 350. 350 minus 280,000 that people are demanding, you have 70,000. There's a cost that you use to make that 70,000, and there's also a disposal cost of how much? 100 naira per bag. So that means a total of how much? 900 per bag. Okay. So that means 70 multiplied by that 900 gives you 63 million. So the net contribution is actually how much? 217. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the next is what? When demand is how much?
It's 200,000.
200,000. Somebody tell me what was the contribution that will make here?
200
contribution
million.
will be how much?
200 million.
200 million? Less
Yes.
what? Cost, I mean?
Yes, cost.
What will be the cost?
800 plus 100.
It will be 900.
800 plus 100, I mean?
Yes.
Yes, that's 900.
Multiply by what?
100.
Eh?
150. 150.
Yes.
150.
1,000, I mean? How much do you
Yes.
have? Eh?
135,000.
What do you have? Eh?
65.
5 million. We are done with
Yes,
this first scenario, right? The next
Yes,
one
sir.
now is when what? Supply.
Supply is 280.
Supply 280,000. So the first here is when you supply 280 and demand is
It's
350,000.
350.
What can we get out of this? Contribution
Is 280 times 1,000.
What will be the contribution, guys? Eh?
It's 280 times 1,000.
Is
Contribution
it
will be
280 or
just
350? 280.
280. Yes.
280,000 times what?
280 times 1,000.
1,000. How much? 280. Then you less cost. Is there cost?
Mm-hmm.
Is there cost?
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
Cost.
No extra
No,
cost.
what you produce was what you supplied.
No cost. The next one is when
Yes,
demand is what? 280,000.
280.
What will be my contribution?
280.
280,000 times what? 1,000.
1,000.
What can I get? 280 million.
280.
Any cost?
Yes.
No.
No.
When demand is
Sleep well.
200. What can I get? Contribution.
200.
That is
200 million.
200.
200,000 times what?
Yeah. Times 1,000.
That too fast.
Eh? Am I too fast?
No, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I will be slow now. Slow. So we have 200 million. All right. So is there cost? Are we lessing any cost? How much
Yes.
cost? So less costs. The cost here, the cost of producing the excess plus what? The disposal
Plus
cost. Is
the-
that not?
Yes.
So we
yes.
have 800 plus 100.
100. That's 900.
Multiply by
80.
80,000. Is that?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How much in million is that?
720.
720?
72 million. Sorry.
If you take it out, what do you have? 128 million. Next is what? Are we done with this line? Yes. Next is to do what now?
When demand
Supply.
is 200.
Peter, I have a question, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so sir, for this cost, the aspect of less cost, like using 800 plus 100 times 150. So why 800? 800 is variable cost, right? Why 100 naira is the cost of disposal?
Yes.
So why
Shoot your
we
question.
adding the two? What's the, sir, I didn't hear you, sir.
What was the question now?
So why are we adding them together to times it by 70 thousand, which is the undisposed
How much did you produce? How many units did you produce?
280,000.
You produced 280. How many units have people bought from you?
One.
You produced 280. People bought 200,000 now. That means you have 80,000 unsold. True or false?
Yes,
that
sir.
Unsold, you can't use it for anything. You have two costs associated with that unsold. The first is the variable cost of making that unit that you're not selling, which is 800 per bag, right? You have spent that, you're not recovering it. That's one. Plus additional disposal cost. They said for the fact that you're not selling it, you are going to be disposing it at a cost. That will add to that 800 variable cost. Does that make sense?
Yes, I get it now.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So here we are supplying what? 200,000 bags. So our contribution, demand is what?
350.
Demand 350. What is our contribution?
200,000. 200 million.
Times
That's
1,000.
200,000 times what?
1,000.
200 million.
200 million. Yeah.
And then you have less cost, have you? Is there cost?
No.
You are doing well. Next is what? Demand what? Demand
supply 200, demand 280.
280,000. What was my contribution?
200.
Times what? 1,000, I mean. How much?
Yes, sir. 200 million.
And the last, is there cost here?
No, sir.
The last one is what? Demand what?
200.
Demand
200.
is 200. Abi? 1,000?
Yes, sir.
What will be our contribution?
200 too.
200 million.
That's 200,000 times what?
Times 1,000.
And that gives you how much?
200 million.
We are done. So now we need to bring in this.
Please, can you mute your mic? Please.
Does anybody have this figure? So we can go to the payoff. Anybody? Yes. Okay.
Sir,
Yes, please.
Please, I have a question before we move on further.
Go ahead.
Please, in that scenario where we had the variable cost of 800 plus the disposal cost of 100.
Yes.
Is it possible where they will tell us we can dispose at a scrap value so that even if we are not selling, we can get something from it? Yes, without
let's say that 100 that this instead of disposal cost, you now have scrap value. Immediately time you have excess, you now use that to reduce that variable cost. Now, is that not? So instead of adding the 100, you use that, you deduct that 100 from that 800. That means you multiply the excess by 700. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, yes, sir.
Yes. All right.
Thank
you. Okay, so help me. All figures here in million. Okay, help me. 350, how much do we have? Where supply is 350, demand is 350. What do we have?
350 million.
350 million.
We are going to the right. When supply, okay, should we go down? We should go down.
No, let's.
When supply is 250 and demand is 280, what do we have? 217.
280.
When supply is 350, demand is 200, what do you have? 65.
65.
When supply is 280, demand is 350.
280.
280. When supply is 280, demand is 280.
280.
When supply is 280, demand is 200. 128.
128.
When supply is 200, demand is 350.
200.
200. All true, right? 200.
Yes, sir.
And 200. This small thing is like 7 marks for your question. Is it not cheap? Or doing nothing? What have you done here? All right. So this is the payoff table that the question actually asks us to come. Yes?
They're also going to be in millions. They're in millions, sir.
All the figures are in millions. Already indicated that up, right? Payoff table, all figures in naira millions. So we are good. So let's look at our criteria. Yes.
How do you have this figure? Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so now this
probability. Is it just there like that?
Okay. You have probability. I told you where you use probability is under expected value. That measures that how do you get expected value? Outcome multiplied by what? Probability. If you don't have anything to do with probability, you don't need it. Like you are doing Maximax now. Do you need any probability there? No. Now, these figures you're seeing here, this 350, 280, they said that from the stories that we read, right? Or the story we read, this company have been supplying bags of cement to the market. And every time they supply to the market, you notice that people used to buy up everything. However, for every time they don't sell any unit of cement, there's what we call a disposal cost, right? And so what they are saying now is that they don't want to go to the market now and supply more than people want to buy, or people are demanding more than they are supplying. So they want you to construct a table that will show them the likely benefits of supplying each of these against the demand. First thing first, you must understand what your state of nature is. When we started, I explained state of nature. Simply what you don't have a control over. It could be weather, it could be government policy, it could be demand, it could be anything. In this question, it is demand. So people are willing to demand for 350, 280, and 200. You don't have a control over it. What this company wants to do now is to match up with this demand. The only thing you can do also is to match your supply in the same quantity. So you are having the same thing, 350, 280, and 200. So what we are doing here, what you have here, is what is the maximum contribution, right, that you get from each of these actions. If I supply 350 and people demand 350, what can I get? If I supply 280 and people demand for 350, what can I get? I'll be able to get all these figures from the analysis. Do you understand? The blue ones are the payoff. These ones are what? The cost of actions, is that not? Which is like the alternative. And these guys you're seeing here, they are what? The state of nature. Right. So the first scenario, they said we should use Maximin. Is that true? Yes. So Maximin, everyone, help me now. What is the Maximin decision here? Everyone. Do it now. Do it. Computed by the student. No ID. Yes. What do you do first? Maximin.
350.
What do you do?
350. The best option out of the
exactly
best possible outcomes.
Maximin. The first is to select what? The worst of all of them.
The best.
Are we looking at it like this?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Guys, please don't. I know some people will have crammed this thing out that anytime you see a payoff table, it's vertical. Your examiner will bring supply here and bring demand here. In that case, how are you going to be looking at it? The most important thing is to understand what you are doing, regardless of how it is presented. Are we together? All right. So, first one here under supply.
The best option.
Let me use red to identify this. What's the worst that can happen under 350 supply?
65.
Under 280 supply?
128.
Under 200 supply?
200.
The best action is to select what?
200.
200, Abi?
100.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it the worst? Best of the worst, Abi?
Yes.
So the action here is to do what?
To supply 200.
200,000 bags.
Bags of cement.
Giving a net contribution of how much? Of 200 million. No thinking.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Are we good? Question?
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Go ahead.
Sir, this is Minimax, right?
Maximin.
The Minimax. Just look at the name now. Minimax. Minimizing maximum regret. Minimax is associated with the regret. Don't mix them up. Oh. When you hear mini, when that mini is coming first, it means you are minimizing regret.
Yes, sir, but you wrote Maximin.
This is a different one.
Is it not Maximin? That's the first thing we talked about now. When we were discussing, we talked about Maximax, Maximin, and then Minimax Regret. What's the confusion? Because the examiner says you should use Maximin first. Is that the problem?
No, sir. The problem is now in this scenario, you're selecting the minimum scenario, 65, 128, and 200.
Okay, so go to your notes now. Where I gave you notes on Maximin, tell me what I told you to do.
On Maximin, you said we should choose the maximum, then we choose the minimum out of the...
Maximum out of what?
Out of the course of actions available.
No. Check again. No.
No problem,
what did I say we should do under Maximin class? Online, save my life.
The maximum or best outcome out of the
best outcome, maximum of the minimum, Maximin.
Maximum.
They don't want to call it maximum minimum. That's why they just remove the three letters. Maximin or four letters, whatever.
Okay, sir, I get it. Thank you.
All right. So can we go to the second one?
Yes, sir.
The second is what? Max. What would that be? Anybody? So what should we put?
350, sir.
350.
So under 350, we should select what?
350.
350, yes.
Yes.
280.
280, 200.
And then the best is what?
350.
350.
So we should select how many bag, produce how many bag? 350. So the action here is to supply 350,000 bags, gain contribution of what?
350.
Of 350 million. No thinking. All right. So what we do, the question did not ask us to do it. We want to include it. We want to do Minimax. So that we don't start looking for same concept. If I'm going to be doing Minimax now, somebody help me.
Please mute your mic now.
If I'm doing Minimax, what should I identify first here on this table?
The maximum.
So
identify the maximum.
All this demand, under this demand 350, the best I can get is how much?
350.
And then I try to look at the regret if I make a different choice. I mean, instead of 350 supply, if I supply 280, is there a regret? What's the regret here? 350 minus 280, is that not?
Yes.
If I make this decision, what's my regret?
150.
150. Are we together?
Yes,
under this demand of 280, the best I can get is what? 280.
280.
If I make this decision, do I have a regret? Yes. If I make a decision here, do I have a regret? No. What's the regret here? 80. Now, let's quickly construct payoff table. Everyone, payoff table quickly. So we have Minimax Regret. So bring out 350,000, 280,000, and what? 200,000. Okay. And Kabegone 350 abi. Elolele 280. And the third one, Onu. Do you have Igala people here? Or Idoma? Okay, so can we get the payoff data? This guy is how much? I think 350, Abi?
Yes.
350, yes. Help me. To the right. 280. 200.
Yes.
Yes.
217.
Yes.
280.
Yes.
200.
200. Yes.
65.
Yes.
128. 200.
200.
No thinking. So now let's quickly get our regrets. The first one, what's the regret here? So let me use red pen.
0.
Yeah. 0 here. Okay. What's the regret
0.
here? Under that 280. 70. 70, mind you,
70.
All regret are in million naira. What's the regret here?
150.
150.
$150. Next one, regrets. Figure.
63.
63.
0.
0.
80.
Students. In my entire teaching career, this is the best student. Best. It's not but you do more now if you shock me in this exam. Nobody should lag, just efforts. What do we have?
135.
135. You're doing well. 72. I'm not checking, no. 72 and what?
Yes.
0.
The next thing to be done here is to select what? Maximum.
The maximum.
What is the maximum here? Maximum regret here?
Yes.
135. Maximum regret here? 72.
72. 200.
200.
Select the least regret, which is how much?
72.
72. And it is supplying how many bags? 280 bags. So quickly, no thinking. So maximum regret here, 135 you told me, and you said this one is 72, you said, and you said this one is 150. And then our Minimax regret is to select what? Select list of maximum regret. Don't forget. Maximum regret. So which one is it? 72. And the option? Supply what?
280 bags.
280,000 what?
Bags of cement.
And that will give us the least regret of how much?
72 million.
72 million.
I have a question.
Yes, shoot.
Okay, for the Maximin and for the Maximax, we went vertical. For the Minimax, we are going horizontal. Why?
Hey, trouble. For the Maximin, okay, now I've explained the Minimax regret, right? I said when you talk of the concept of regret, it means you now know better. Is that also before you regret? Now, why are you regretting here? Remember, these are all demand 350, 280, and 200. In fact, this one here, the state of nature, they are all demand. Now, we are looking at each of them. If I supply 350, what is the best decision I can make? Is to supply 350, Nabi. Is that not? Let me go back to this main payoff table. Look at. Under this 350 demand, what is the best decision I can make? Is to supply how many? 350. Best coming in is if I'm supposed to supply 350 and I supply something else, there's a regret. Are you following? And that regret is the difference between the maximum that I should have made or the best decision, right? And what? And what I actually chose. So if it's supposed to be 350 and I choose 280, the difference between these two contributions is what I call regret. So they are not the same concept to speak. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so the last part is asking us for what, guys? Expected value. When you hear expected value, your mind should go straight to what? Probability. Is that not? Now let's get, we have probability. What are the probability for all these outcomes? They gave us the probability. Let me attach it here.
25%.
25, Abby?
Yes, sir.
25%, right? Next is what?
45%.
5%. Next is what?
It's 30%.
Now, the expected value is simply looking at the weighted average of all my outcomes, Abby, using the respective what? Probability. So what are my outcomes? This guy is here, Abby. So it means under this, I have what? I have an expected value here, expected value here, and expected value here. So if you pick this one now, look at all this. What you should do is your addition should be along with the probability. If you add this together, I must give you 100%. Is that not? So it means that I'm going to be multiplying this guy by this guy plus this guy times this, plus this times this. It is when you add that together, it gives you that 100% probability. Are we together? If I come to 280, I will multiply 280 by what? 25% plus 280 times what? 45% plus 128 times what? 30%. I get the figure. Abi? And under this one also, the same thing. 200 times what? 25% plus 200 times 45% plus 200 times 30%. I get the total. So it means I have expected value under 200 supply, expected value under what? 280, expected value under what? 350. And the decision, of course, is to select the best of them, right? So when you do that tomorrow, let me see your solution. And then we move further on risk and uncertainty. Any question, please, guys? Any question? Anyone?
Yes, sir. So,
all right, please
sorry, sir.
conclude on expected value before tomorrow.
Hello, sir.
See you guys tomorrow when I see you. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any. Bye-bye. Yes?
Please, the probability you just explained. Please, I didn't understand it. Please, can you just briefly... The probability, sir, you just explained. I didn't understand it. Please, can you just briefly repeat?
Okay, so I was saying the probability. This is 350 multiplied by 25 plus 217 multiplied by 45% plus 65 multiplied by 30%. Add it together. You get the expected value under this guy. You move to the next one. 280 multiplied by 25 plus 280 multiplied by 45 plus 128 multiplied by 30. Add it together, you get another expected value. And then lastly, you do the same for 200,000 supply. 200 times 0.25, 200 times 0.45, 200 multiplied by 0.30. Add it together and you get the expected value under 200. Then compare all of them. So whichever one that is higher is what you're picking as the
hello, sir.
Under expected value. Yes?
The minimax of 280 that we got, please, can you just do a brief recap on it?
Minimax on what?
280 that we got. 280.
280?
Yeah. That was the last thing we saw. Before we went to the...
This one, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so, but you know how to get your regret, Abi?
Yes, yes.
You know how to construct your regret table?
Yes.
Oh, exactly. So you can construct regret table. All you are just doing is, for each of these options, select the maximum regret. Here, the maximum regret under 350 is 135. Maximum regret under 72 is, under 280 is 72. Under 200 is 150. The option is to select which minimizes your regret, which is 72. 72 is the least regret. That means you're supplying 280,000 bags, and that ends it. All right. See you when I see you.
That's program, please. Let's copy.
I'm sending a note to you now.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.